Happy New Year, Shopping Maniacs. You're listening to another episode of the Shop Talk Show, brand new year, 2026 edition. I'm David.
It is.
With me is Chris Coyer. Chris,
We're
how
even
are you
recording
doing?
it in 2026. This isn't one of those fake ones where we record ahead of time now, so we can do hot news. Yeah.
We can do hot news like breaking sad stuff. No, no, just kidding. No, it's yeah. I don't know. How was your break? Everything good? I know you had to travel back home and stuff, and so.
Yeah, I tried to see as many family members as we could. I'm from Wisconsin, so we were back in Wisconsin trying to make the rounds a little bit. There's been a little like health stuff in my family, so it was all a little shaded by that and made a little bit more difficult, with Ruby being like, "Why are we in this hotel or in this hospital? I want to go." Like she's 8 and sympathetic and understanding, but not really.
Right.
All the way.
It was 8. She's 8. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like. We went to like a church service and it's like my daughter's like laying on me to leave. That's the cue. Like, you're like, hey, dude, like there's still like a lot left, Like, I get it, but we got
totally. And even if
bunch.
they do power through, there's like a mental cost for them, that you'll pay at some point or another.
Oh yeah. And you're just
there's just a lot of like, wake up, pack the bags, go to a new place to sleep tonight because we were, going from this family to that family to this hospital to this. Anyway, I don't want to get all into it, but it had its lovelinesses and its stresses. There's moments where it's snowing in the Midwest and you wake up to these big beautiful snowflakes coming down and you're like, God dang, that's Christmassy.
I was getting bitter at Emperor Constantine for establishing Christmas on the same week as New Year's. Back in 353 AD, whenever he did that or whatever.
Yeah.
Why are we putting two together, bud? Like, this is a lot of work. 2 holidays is a lot of work. I gotta like hang out with my family and like, eat until I like vomit every day, and then
Would you pull it out? Would you go like March or something? Would you, like in one of the holiday droughts? Would you?
I think we gotta get rid of a holiday, dude. I think
one of them's gotta go.
Christmas, Easter. We're trying to pull the same heist twice, dude. It's like, celebrate the same dude, right? Okay, fine, that's fine. But like, we're doing the Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny Man. That's the same grift. We can't do that. We can't pull the same grift.
I mean, I loved Christmas as a kid, of course, but I really did put Easter really high up. I think I probably even said at the time that it was my favorite holiday, even though, any proper kid, like obviously you're banking a lot better from Christmas,
Christmas is the best. Like Christmas from a kid perspective, Christmas is top tier, S tier.
Like, of course, you're out of school. It has this whole vibe to it.
Logistically, like we just did Super Meat Holiday in November, and now we're doing Super Meat Holiday again. No, man, we can't run the same grift. Can't do it. Can't. And then like I'm turning into the Grinch. Can I just say that? Dave turns into the Grinch. Okay. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's so extra, dude. There's like. We got to do this. We got to do. Everyone's having a party. We got every night building up to this very busy holiday. We were trying to squeeze in all this shopping and stuff like that, and wrapping and packing and all this stuff. You're doing all this work, and then it's like everyone's like, "Hey, we're having a party. Come," and you're like, "Oh, I like you, so I should go," And so I'm turned into a Grinch, and I hate that, but it's
the problem is, Dave, the Grinch comes around in the end. You're like a Grinch that doesn't want to come around.
I want to write a musical, like in the lines of Wicked, where the Grinch was right. Like,
sure, like a forked timeline of the
where it's just like, dude, the Whovilles are going over the top. They can't afford Christmas. Why are they doing this big Christmas when they can't afford it? That's just like.
What if we just kicked it forward, like Christmas, December 30th, New Year's Eve, 31st, or would you just cut one?
I think you either got cut, or you gotta like we have 1 week of holidays, like super holiday.
Maybe Thanksgiving should just go.
Thanksgiving might need to go, man. I don't know. It's a little extra, dude. We're not doing harvest
We tried to
festivals.
do a little, there's like a woman, we tried to do because the Grinch comes around, the point is the season is, you should forgive and help and love. And, I like that part, right? So the way it manifested for us this year is I'm at a Walgreens buying some lotion crap we need. And there's a woman who, ostensibly locked her keys out of her car, but she's throwing off some crazy vibes, or like she's the kind of person's probably not the first time she locked her keys in her car, kind of like a little manic and
okay, might not own the car too, or
well, right. It's like it's my baby sister's car,
okay,
that kind of thing. And I gave her a ride against my better judgment because there's a kid in the car, which I don't know. But I was feeling strong. I'm a strong individual.
Right.
Mess with me, see what happens. You know what I mean? But I was like, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. We drove her, half a mile away to her actual sister's, because she's like, I don't have my phone, I don't have my keys. Maybe my sister is home, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to drive away because what if your sister's not there? It's also freezing cold outside,
right? 0 degrees in Wisconsin.
So we wait around. Her sister isn't home. Drive her back. Take her over to this like nun depot or something where she's supposedly at Walgreens to be picking up medication for these old people. It all actually kind of had the ring of truth and all this. Anyway, we are nice. It worked out. We did it's not like I do one good deed a year or anything, but it felt like particularly Christmassy because it was like, it was like 2 days before Christmas.
So like, that's good. That's the good part of the season. And
my heart grew one size,
Oh, see, that's
not
what it should be
way.
about. I feel, this is me, I feel like Amazon has also killed Christmas, because Christmas used to be, I wait and I ask my family for the thing I've been waiting for, I don't wait anymore, Chris. I want it 2 days later. It's at my house.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Well, it's
even
delayed gratification, and I have a friend who's really good at it, imparting it into his kids. I don't know how he pulls it off. They're just a little more strict of a household than I am, But he does really good, and if they want something, there's all kinds of waiting, and there's all kinds of earning. Every dang treat, every dang thing they buy has some degree of waiting for it, because I think they feel even extra strong about it. I mean, here we are talking about it, but probably not practicing it as good as we can. But I do think that's important, that things feel better, they taste better, they're more satisfying when there is a wait, when you are forced to think about it and not get what you want immediately, I do not think I'm imparting that into my child. It is a failure of my fatherhood at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I do because I'm cheap. I'm like, I'm not buying that. What? You don't need that. Yeah, but no, I think that's that's good. I feel, there's just so much. What I do like, can I tell you what I do like about Christmas, and maybe we can save that piece of it?
Okay.
Is I like gifts where it's like, I got this thing like in June, and it was awesome. And like my brother-in-law got one of those, we have those little air blower things, like blow off your desk, he got one that's like a tire inflator, USB tire inflator, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is awesome, because you don't want to carry around a big old air compressor in your car or whatever. You just want this little, little Coke can size thing to like pump up your tires and get a digital readout, so you're not.
Isn't it? It's like that's like new. That did not exist. I don't even 5 years ago. I mean, definitely not 10. Like I feel like something changed in like battery power that makes these small devices much more capable. You convinced me to get the Nickelodeon one. Remember that bad boy?
It's so awesome. Yes.
It is. It's a handheld air blower that has almost, I'd say, the power of canned air. But you'll this is the last one you ever buy, because you just charge it and it goes again. Unlike canned air that you throw in a landfill.
Whatever. Landfill, and it freezes your hands and gives you frostbite. Yeah.
And it's just full of all kinds of weird. I'm sure the creation of this thing wasn't exactly like an environmental perfection or anything, but
But I like that sort of giving where it's just like, I found this thing and it was cool, and So I'm passing that
Yeah.
on to you because I love that kind of, like my wife got these
Oh,
little.
like you bought one for you and it ruled, so you're extending the joy. Is that what you're saying?
But I don't practice that art of like treating myself to gizmos all year long. You know, that's you have to also do that part of it to like be like,
I see.
I got the cardboard cutter, and guess what, Dad, you're never gonna drag a friggin' X-Acto knife across cardboard ever again in your life.
Do
You're
this
just
next
gonna
time. I'm going
rip
to be
saw,
more
you know?
conscious about that. Like, what are things that I like? Because I don't think I use that particular mechanic when gift thinking.
Well, it just sort of like this benefited my life over this year. My brother-in-law, who's like a well-off dentist or whatever, but he would do that too. He's like, this is the thing you need. You know, like, I forget what it was. It might have been like even like a Viore shirt or something like that. It's just like, this is good fabric and it goes on your body and it feels good and you're gonna like it, and that's what you just deal with it. And it was just like, okay, yeah, cool, you know, like, you know, like that stuff's cool to me, you know, just sort of
Right.
You know.
I know, I have a previous Dave gift giving theory too. Is that it's nice to receive gifts of things that you know you would enjoy that you wouldn't probably get for yourself, and you put up like subscriptions to like almost like B tier, but in your world A tier streaming services and stuff like College Humor or whatever, something like that, or Nebula,
Crunchyroll, Nebula,
right? Because you can't have all of them
Masterclass or something.
Yeah.
I saw this video. I actually wanted this, and I may still get it. I'm not like a masterclassy person.
Yeah.
But I could be. You know, I watch enough junk. It might be cool to hear like somebody who's really good at it, like Amy Poehler or something. But they had this commercial right before the holidays that was this woman making Indian food, Chris. Oh my God, dude. I was
on
like,
masterclass?
Yeah, I was salivating. I was just like, if I could do this, my life would be better. It was like the perfect commercial. I wish I could tell the marketing team, like, just keep sending me that commercial. Like, I don't need the Neil deGrasse Tyson one where he's like, the key to thinking is to remember that you're thinking, not thinking. He does this weird, dumb, like, remember you're not the smartest, but be the smart. Anyway, it's stupid. But send me that Indian food video. I was just like enchanted for like 20 minutes. I watched the whole like 20-minute commercial ad. Like, I just was like, yeah, I want to make that. I want to eat that. I want that in my body. This is what I want. And it was just, I don't know. I might sign up for that course, you know, just like that would be so cool to make, able to make one dish like that. Just be like, oh, it's my, dal makhni. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
that's all
the trick
I had.
is the turmeric.
yeah. Sorry, I brought my cauliflower korma. It was all I had. Yeah.
I love it. You know, last year at this time we finished up hard code and soft skills. So that was fun. That was about this time.
That was kind of an achievement, I think, for me. Like that put a lot of effort and brain powers, but it was fun.
It was, and and speaking of your brain, you were just freshly ADHD diagnosed, I think, not too long before that. So you were talking about that a little bit. So you're a year on those on proper meds ish.
Yeah, I've been a year. I've had like 3 different meds, and it's been this like roller coaster. Like the first two were non-stimulant, which is you get stimulant, non-stimulant.
Whatever, right?
Stimulants is like the baby meth, like Vyvanse, Adderall, Ritalin sort of classifications.
Those are baby? Adderall's baby? I thought that was...
It might be kind of big boy, but it's, you know, but it's not like, you know, you're not like, it's not like meth from a spoon. It's different. So
sure, yeah.
But so the first 2 were non-stimulants. The first one was like, okay, it like works, but it like gave me insomnia super bad. So I was up in the middle of the night. I read
that's no good.
Like 1,500 pages of sci-fi, so it worked out, but it was like not ideal for me. And then the next one got on, and it was a non-stimulant, and it like actually lost a lot of weight, like 10, 15 pounds or something, like pretty dramatically. And I have like a chart on my little eye health or whatever. And so it was like, okay, this is kind of working. And then I think my insurance was like, hey, we don't pay for that anymore. And it was like, what? Like, they're like, yeah, we're not supporting that. And so it was just like, oh, okay, cool. Guess I need a new one, you know? And I was also kind of like experiencing some other side effects, like,
Oh,
you
so
know,
perfect
just,
world, you'd be back on that one. It's just not available.
no, I
Well,
think the side effects were kind of like just weird, you know? It's just like I had like it gave me dry mouth and stuff like that. Like, it's sort of like
oh,
this
hmm.
weird set of side effects. So I'm on Vyvanse, so that's been good. So I mean, I can't. It's not like this lightning bolt that people sort of describe. Some people are like, "Oh, I take the pill," and I'm like, "Wow, lightning!" I'm like, now I'm normal or what, neurotypical. You know, it's not like that.
Oh, I
It's been,
see.
you know, but it's been this like, you know, I think what it happens is I can like get through the day, and then when there's like a crash in, like, hey, I need this. It's less of a hurt. Does that make sense? Like, it's less of like a
Yeah, that's nice.
day ruiner, you know? So I think that's
Oh, I
kind of,
see.
so
Yeah.
it's just sort of like capacity, if you will, you know?
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
don't know
that's,
much anymore. It's been a long time. I don't have it. I don't think. I don't know that it's not like my brain is some freaking wonderland, but I don't know that I have
yeah, I mean,
ADHD necessarily because, and this, maybe this is just self-diagnosis or whatever, but everybody likes Adderall. It's like, oh, you know, I'm sure there's some you straight edges out there that don't, but like, you know, if a normal person takes an Adderall, it's a little cocaine-y, honestly. I would
I,
know, you know, not to be
yeah.
weird, but you know,
No, no, I mean, like, I remember my, I guess they
and
were
it's not like
house.
that for somebody with ADHD, right? It's not, you don't
No,
get that like,
that's,
you know, like you're just ready to
no.
party. No,
No,
yeah.
it's not. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I can do something. You know, it's it's not even. You know, it's like, okay, I guess I'll do my dishes, or you know, like I had. I guess we were in the back house, and they're in the main house. But these housemates, I guess, or property mates, I don't know what you'd call them, two gals, but they would do Adderall and like clean their whole house
Yeah, exactly.
on a Saturday, and I was like,
Yeah, it's great for
"That's a
your
weird one,
homework.
girls," but okay, like, but I was just, but you know, it worked for them, but I was just kind of like, I don't, it's not that effect for me. It's just purely like a,
No, because you actually have ADHD. I think.
yeah, it's sort of like, okay, my shoes are tied now. I can like walk a little better, you know, like it's honestly, it's like, you know, and then there's sort of like this, you know, the ADHD is what I've learned over I'm not a doctor, so everyone
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
But
Got it.
I recommend getting help if you think you need it. But if like you're like, I'm managing fine, you know, I think that's something, you know, like to also be like, you know, this is I don't need to add a complication into my life, you know. But the oh, what was I? Oh, the thing about ADHD is it's, you know, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's really not a deficit. It's like attention management is sort of maybe the like better term, or it's sort of like an executive function issue. It's like it's less about like, oh, I don't have attention. It's like I kind of can't, or I don't always get to choose where my attention goes, if that makes sense. Like, so there's this, there's a what are acronym called INCUP, INCUP, interest, novelty, challenge, urgency, and passion. And so like, in order for my brain to be like, yeah, I should work on that, it has to fit into one of those buckets. Like, it has to be interesting, it has to be novel, it has to be challenging, it has to be urgent. That's a big one. So if somebody comes and says, this is important, like all of a sudden everything's on there. And then, yeah.
Oh, I see. That's a way to snipe you, is to tell you that it's urgent.
Yeah, you could. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, bosses probably could and have and can exploit that vector of attack. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that might work with me too, for different reasons though. Just to be like, oh, well, somebody that looms large in my life says it's important, so I like it, I'm just gonna trust that it is and do it.
yeah, but you know, but then there's other things. It's just like, do taxes doesn't fit into those buckets.
Oh, I see. So
And
it will
so-
never get done.
Well, yeah, doesn't get
Yeah.
done until about December 22nd of
Right.
that year. So you know,
Sure.
different strokes, different folks, or whatever. So it's just I don't know. I can't change it. I can do my best, but
right. So no big changes there. You just got to manage it.
Yeah. So
yeah. Okay. Well, you know what we didn't do last year is any sort of prediction crap. I'm sure I don't even know if it came up. I don't even remember discussing if we were going to do that. Not really our style, maybe.
Not our style. I've been watching the Syntax Boys do their predictions and stuff.
I did. I listened to theirs too.
That's pretty good.
They're a little more,
They're kind of like, something will be better. I'm going to give them a little critique. Something will be better. I'm like, okay. Yeah, stuff gets better. What are we talking about? But
well, even they self-critiqued that one. I think.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job. I think, but I don't know what to say. You're like Veet does something. Like is that a prediction? I don't know. Not really. Or at least it doesn't interest me. Veet interests me. Like I like this stuff. I want to know what they're doing. I want to try their stuff. I freaking knocked out a little mini Veet project this morning. That was cool. God, I almost want to spoil it, but I think I need to let it simmer a little while longer.
Hold on.
Yeah, but I used Veet 7 because I wanted to try roll down, and it was great. Oh my God, it just was amazing. Like I don't know, I think it's a nice product. Anyway.
Yeah, well,
but I don't like that. I'm not going to put that in our prediction list. What I don't even care, like whatever. Keep trucking, team, or like Cloudflare releases products or website frameworks have changes, whatever. I'll do a few though, just for fun. Okay,
well,
ready?
I want them.
And these are almost like aspirational predictions.
Sure.
Just so I can be wrong, it's fine. Like here's one. I've been wanting. I think what should exist is a web component based framework that's as good as any of the rest of them. Astro, 11D, Next.js, whatever. But none of those put web components first. They're not like this one is you work with it with web components. They're like, oh, we sort of support them, or we're forced to support them, or oh yeah, those work. Or in 11D's case, they're like, well, because we need to do SSR, we invented our own way of doing it, or some, but none of them are just straight up web components. But it's got everything. It's got file system based routing. It's got signals for talking to each other. It's got state management. It's got SSR, it's got great documentation and a Discord, and I'll remember Dave's list of things a project needs, and it's super long. It's in TypeScript, so it's got good types, and it launches with templates, and it's got middleware for the SSR because it's got server-side stuff going on. But at its core, like it says, this is the one for web components. I think we'll get it. I think somebody's going to do it. Maybe Astro's involved. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Or it would be cool to what I want, and maybe this is my prediction, or what I hope happens is there's like a very obvious default when you're selecting, like, I'm going to go in on web components and like I'm going to use this framework, and my hope would be it can support any sort of custom element. It's not like over-tuned to that library. It's not over-tuned to lit, or not over-tuned to fast, or some bespoke thing.
Sure.
Like ideally any sort of BYO system can fit in it. And so that would be like my dream. There's this really interesting data point over on the WebPerf calendar. Do you subscribe that the calendar, the WebPerf Advent calendar?
I just read Alex Russell's one about the big mystery at the heart of whatever. Is that what you're about to do?
Yeah, that like SPAs, single page apps, and MPAs, like they've been tracking soft navigations, which are like in app, like in JavaScript navigations, something that would in theory
Didn't
change
Chrome
the URL.
Soft navigation. It feels like that was just invented in the last 2 months, that term.
Yeah, I think
maybe people said the term, but now it's like it's like an actual event. It's like a click, but it's a soft navigation, which I thought was funny. I think I wrote at one time that it's soft in a yellow, or like from Back to the Future. You're like, you calling me yellow? It's like your web page navigates. You're like, you calling me soft?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's kind of like Anyway, but the mystery is that as they're tracking it, SPAs get about 1 on average.
1. So
that's wild, right? So like, where's all this navigation
load
happening?
a page 1, and it sort of starts breaking apart this, oh, we have long sessions argument. You know what I mean? And so
right, I would use that at CodePen. I'd be like, oh, but our users, they just hang, we have long sessions. It's like a coding app. They like are around for a while. We don't even have SPA stuff, not very much of it anymore, but I could see us using that argument, which would then be wrong, right? At least on average.
Well, it's like long sessions on one view. So do we need single page apps? Like, what's the benefit? And so this is sort of like this costs and trade-offs thing, it's just sort of like,
you used to be able to say, well, because then it's a really nice experience to go forward and back in the app and stuff. That's all gone because view transitions are across the board, so you don't need that anymore. View transitions,
you're not breaking the back button. back forward cache is all super good in browsers, like way better than you're gonna write. I think if there's going to be a web component thing, like, it probably should focus on this sort of multi-page Vite sort of experience.
Oh, sure.
So,
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, if you were making this framework now, which I think somebody is, hence my prediction, that you wouldn't spend any time on SPA routing. You just wouldn't. You'd just skip it because it's fine.
Yeah, and there's stuff in the navigation API coming out that I've seen some cool experiments where they build a router in a service worker because it can use the navigation API, can detect a change and import the right file or send the right.
Right.
Those are kind of interesting.
It's another thing that's not talked about as much with all this is all that speculation rules stuff. Does that stay in your brain? That's kind of like it's almost like a little piece of JSON that you ship. It may still be only Chrome only, but the idea was that I've decided that on this page, users are very likely to go to this other page. So I'm telling the browser, please just go load it. So when they do click on that link, if they do, it's ready to rock. So it could be accused of being a little wasteful, but we do lots of wasteful stuff on the web. And this is in service of a better experience for users. And it can make that next load, that even if it's a hard page load, feel like absolutely instant because it's already done. Now, those speculation rules can also be like, if they hover over a link, then do that same kind of thing. It has that stuff built into it too. It's worth looking into. And it's part of this story of, yes, we really don't need SPAs anymore.
Yeah, and even just things I've learned, the browser kind of changed how it did, forward and backing, or even navigations. It used to wipe to a gray page and then load your page in, and it doesn't do that anymore.
Paint holding stuff now.
Yeah, it holds the paint until it gets something, and then it can kind of layer it in.
I noticed it the other day because I was making a really simple page that I wanted to, with view transitions, you can put the same view transition name, for example, on your navigation or your header bar because it's not going to change, right? Or maybe it doesn't change. And if you put the same view transition name on it, it will not repaint. It'll stay there. It's almost like it's animating from one state to the same state, so you don't see it, but it will not flash. But you know what? It doesn't flash anyway, Dave. Because it gets paint held. So you kind of don't even need to do that.
Yeah. It feels like the only use case I'm maybe not imagining, or this is where I would like Jake Archibald to chime in, is like the music player. The classic, I want to play music I want to hit play on Spotify and go from page to page to page, But can we just do frame or something? The rest of the page loads in an iframe and this is the page, you know what I mean? Or what?
Doesn't that work with view transitions? Can't you do that? I think you can have I think you can have a playing movie, and if it will hold, it'll hold.
Go pop. Okay, interesting.
Even resized and all that. There may be some restrictions for that, but I think that already works.
Interesting. Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that'd be a good little stream. Maybe I'll try to make that work. That'd be a good little blog post for sure. I was going to say though, speaking of playing videos and stuff, this was a great addition in the last year to JavaScript. Was that move before? API. And so instead of using insert before, it's modeled exactly the same. So you just swap it. They kept the API the same, which is very smart. You just use move before instead of insert before, and it just holds on to the state of the thing that you're moving in the DOM. So if that thing was a YouTube video or whatever, which is Bramis's demo, it's still playing. It's just rock and roll. Everything is the same. If there's an animation happening in the CSS, it just keeps playing. If it's a dialogue that you're moving around for some reason or a popover, it's in whatever state it was. If there's focus inside of that element, the focus stays inside of that element. That's probably the biggest one.
That's
incredible,
huge.
right?
Well, and even in web component land, because that's what I only care about, but it is
it stays mounted or whatever.
It stays mounted, yeah. So like you would hit this whole connected callback thing, and like you have to re-inject the shadow DOM and stuff. Like the state's probably there, it's fine, but like it was just kind of slower than moving something, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like it had to do more work, but
a lot of work, really. Like that is almost certainly unnecessary. So pretty cool. I am curious why we only got that one though. I just don't. That's pure ignorance because I don't really know. But I will tell you one of my favorite JavaScript APIs is the one insert adjacent HTML. Yeah, and it takes you call it on an element, and then it has this really intuitive set of strings that you can pass as the first argument that are like before and after begin, all these, and they're actually pretty easy to just remember. Like, I don't know how, because I'm not very good at this thing, but before I just know what they all are.
Before and after begin.
Because they remind me of how pseudo elements should work. There should be
four pseudos.
Yeah, we should get all of those in CSS, but we don't. Yeah, I know.
About
ship
to
it,
propose
right?
something, yes.
But then the second argument is what they call a trusted HTML string, which is funny. Actually, I'm going to get this guy on because they're shipping in February, I think, cross-browser. They're going to ship that weird browser sanitization HTML API thing. Yeah. So we should get him on. I'm sure there's lots of people involved. I have a bad habit of attributing to one person an entire feature, but he's the guy,
There's 1,000 Chrome engineers who just go, oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know.
And you're like, no. Usually there is a spokesperson for the feature, right? So you kind of,
right.
Yeah.
But I wish there was a version of insert HTML that was move thing place. Instead of just move before, why don't we have insert adjacent HTML that takes not a string, but a DOM node, move before takes. There probably is. I'm just dumb,
Yeah. Well,
but it probably doesn't have this state holding thing yet. So it's if you're going to do it on that.
Yeah. Well, one thing we are going to get with the sanitation API, sanitation is trash. Sanitization is cleaning. Yes, sanitization API is set HTML. So we have inner HTML, whatever element.inner HTML equals really unsecured, dangerously inset HTML string.
Right. Yep.
We're getting set HTML, which will auto pass through that sanitization API, I think.
Do you know what the params are for it? Do you get, or is it just it's you want to sanitize it, you get sanitized. What if it's okay that there's a script in it? Then just don't use the sanitized and just use inner HTML. But presumably scripts get stripped. Oh, jeez.
Whoa, tongue twister. Scripts get stripped. Here, I'll share the thing here. We got technology to look at the API here on the internet. But so we're getting this, right? So untrusted screen script alert. Hey, I got all your cookies, and then but here you have this set HTML, and so then you get this. Okay, it did it, but you can pass in elements into it, approved elements. So that's going to be cool for blog posts, right? Making sure third-party WordPress scripts don't inject crap that is illegal or whatever. This could be,
element.
I don't know.
Oh, this is great. This is what I was hoping to see. Oh yeah. This is awesome.
This was all part of DOM Purify and what was the HTML sanitize or something.
I'm actually more used to the WordPress one because forever I had to manage the comment area, like, at CSS Tricks at one time was a thriving comment community. And I wanted to, for example, allow people to use a pre-tag, to put a block of code in a comment, but the default WordPress didn't allow it. So I had to get in here and like say which attributes were allowed and disallowed and stuff. And they had their own little sanitizer. It reminds me of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a really
Remove
cool.
Oh God, it's so beautiful. Look at this. You call new sanitizer, and then you pass in an object, which is the nicest way to do params for any function, I think, because then you can actually name the parameters, and then remove, or I don't know. I shouldn't say name, but like kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
The things that you're passing in is remove elements, which takes an array of strings of elements. That's excellent. That's just so nicely named. And remove attributes, and it's a array of strings of the attributes that you're going to remove. Does it do whitelist and blacklist?
Yeah. So we have up at the top here, and this is where I think it's getting cool. Was up at the top, yeah. So elements, you just basically can say what.
Elements is like allow elements. Yeah, that's fine. I guess.
And then
why is it
attributes
elements and allow attributes? It should be allow elements then. That's weird.
Yeah, that's
Nobody
where
calls
it gets
me before they do this.
Yeah, like I'm gonna type out all the valid elements. I mean, if you're thinking like a WYSIWYG or whatever, the Jira ticket box, like I think this is pretty solid. One thing that is cool. Imagine you knew a guy who like made an LLM that streamed back web components in Markdown. Like imagine this guy, and what's cool is that person, whoever they are, could like in theory just say like, okay, I allow these elements from an LLM. Other elements that the LLM or whatever makes up are just garbage. Throw those away. Like that if it just hallucinates, don't do that. But if it spits back an element that I care about, then render that element, please. So that's one thing a person could do if they were doing that sort of thing.
Right. When it's funny about security stuff like this is that it's like when it rolls out in the brand newest browsers, you always have to remember like anybody could just use a browser that doesn't support this. You can't count on it for actual security,
Yeah, that's the old juke. the old Firefox 34 juke. I do think that that's going to be a problem. I am hopeful. Just the API, I could be wrong, appears to be polyfillable. I haven't seen an official polyfill, but
it's based on if it's based on DOM Purify or whatever, surely it is.
But DOM Purify is like huge. I think it was like something like 45 kilobytes, minified gzipped, and so it's just like it adds a bunch to like accept arbitrary content. So this is going to save a whole bunch of code, and hopefully there's a polyfill that you can
I'm all about it.
If not supports, import this script, so.
Right. Because you just kind of have to do some work like this. But I will, a lot of this, it looks, even in these demos, we're looking at the MDN page. You can see crap that is not surprising. It's like, what do they call that when they steal your cookies or whatever? The classic blunder of web security, XSS. Right?
XSS, yeah.
Because you get, if they can access your cookies, which JavaScript can do, they get their cookie and they do a fetch and they send it to badwebsite.com. Badwebsite.com gets the request. They put that cookie in their browser, and you're like, oh look, I'm logged in as you. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's freaking bad. So that's why all these examples have put script tags in them, because if you can execute a script, you can force some other user to execute your script. You can do that. You just document.cookie has all kinds of secure crap in it, and it's dangerous, But it's just it's just like if you can get an alert to run, then the sky's the limit. So you'll see these like alerts getting put into this code, and it's just a shorthand in security land to talk about XSS stuff in a way. And so that's kind of interesting. If you don't want that to run the actual way, and again, this is like not all browsers in the entire world support it, but a lot more do than this, which currently none browsers support, is CSP, they call it, which is Content Security Policy. which is a way to tell the browser, like, I don't care if you put a script on the page. Put as many scripts on the page as you want. I will not execute them.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's sort of the like nuclear option, right? The nuclear lockdown. So,
yeah, it's great. That's actual protection. This is a different kind of level.
Done this, I get an ad when I go
See,
here.
isn't that interesting?
That
trusted HTML is the second parameter to move before.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's just a string, but it does get a little bit manipulated. Yeah.
I've encountered this a couple times, right? Like this creating policies. It's not my favorite, but I think we're going to have to get more, whatever.
Don't you think that's what sanitized HTML is supposed to?
I think it's
that API already existed
right?
and nobody used it.
Yeah. They're like,
so we're going to do it a different way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, dude. Document.write causes so many problems. I can't believe it's still on the internet. We need to get rid of it. Just whatever. Ad networks that still use it, they can eat it. Yeah, this like sort of like trusted types, like anytime you like create HTML, it gets, pre-processed and run through DOM Purify or whatever, so.
Oh, I see. It's like a prototype for other functions that like force it to run through another function. Oh, that's kind of cool. Isn't that like a little bit like a decorator?
Sort of. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could write it as a decorator, like at whatever HTML or something. I don't know.
I kind of like this.
But yeah, like, so it's like policy create HTML user input. So like we got like user input and then we're going to inject it on the page. Like you run it through the policy or whatever. Again, cool, but I think I like this like set HTML version better just because like, I don't know, I kind of see what's happening in line.
Well, it's just available to use rather than like you first set up a policy, then use policy. Then people's laziness alarms are like, oh, I just want to use something that's already there.
Well, and like I can always write I can set up the sanitizer, as a global, and then in my framework handles this at the global level, right? Like fast or lit or whatever,
Boy, what is that one? Replace with children elements? What does that one do? Replace with children.
I don't know.
Replace with children elements or replace element with children. I just want to know what it does. Yeah, let's click on it. We'll do a live reading
element
here.
Name. Okay.
All right, look at Dave's ADHD makes him go right down to the parameters.
Oh yeah, I started looking at code. Sorry. Sorry, I don't read actual. So methods replace element with children's method of sanitizer interface sets an element to be replaced by its child HTML elements when sanitizer is used.
Oh, it's a little bit like CSS's display contents or whatever.
Yes, display contents for JavaScript.
Weird. Okay.
All right. Okay.
So it just disappears a parent, but it's okay. Its guts just spill out into the parent above it.
Yeah. Replaces that with whatever sort of
don't hate it
string. I'm not mad. Yeah. Well, that's actually if you had like whatever 52 p tags and you're just like, you know what, just replace the WYSIWYG div with whatever I sanitized. Like rather than like, that makes sense to me. So, interesting. So what does this come out at? Replace element with children strong.
Replace element with children. Oh, that's the one. You don't want it to spill out. You want to replace it. So you're like, oh, I don't want all these 50p tags. They need to be div class equals p. Instead, or some other crazy stuff. You could just replace it and then it spills out into the new parent. Oh, I kind of love that too.
Yeah.
Although it's like a bunch of APIs that are like jQuery-ish.
Yeah.
It's like, why are these part of Sanitizer and not part of DOM?
Yeah. Yeah, good question. I bet it breaks everything if you try to move it upstream, So, but I think this is going to be how we inject stuff, kind of in the future.
All right, we should move on actually, only because we're going to have the guy on.
Oh yeah, we should. Okay, cool.
And then
we're done.
They'll know.
Hey, we're done.
I'll spoil it.
Okay.
The guy is Frederick. Yeah, there you go. So here's one. I think they'll be a little bit more self-publishing this year. A little bit, not like a
like
lot,
it.
but I feel like there's a little bit more undercurrent of it, and less in the like indie web, even though that's great and everything, or screw the man. I don't know. It's a little bit just more like pushback against algorithmic stuff. Like we're just fed so much algorithmic stuff, and it feels gross. I think people know what that feel is, and they like it sometimes. But I feel like when they get too trapped in it or they see too much of it, there's like some kind of natural brain pushback against seeing too much algorithmic crap. And that there's a little bit more of a desire to be like, I just want to publish something that just, it's there if people want to see it. It's not if they don't. It's not part of an algorithmic world. And that's what I'm going to do. And I don't care if it. I think I've changed my mind on that. That like things like RSS and personal websites and all that, they don't need to take off. They don't need to double growth. There isn't a thing like that. It doesn't matter because it's just like fundamentally good, and that it doesn't matter if it takes off because smart people are going to do that. That's where interesting and smart people are, and they're going to continue to do that, and we can be a part of that world if we're interesting and smart, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, Henry.codes. I'm going to murder his actual
We were
last
at Henry
name.
on the show.
I don't think so. We probably should. Henry Desrochers, I'm going to say, has got some French feelings.
He's probably he's the top social media follow of all time, perhaps,
That's
like,
fair, yeah.
He's like the drill of web dev.
Well, drill, but then it's also like, I drove a Porsche in the woods. And you're like, yeah, dude, this is great. I love it. I like that. It feels visceral. But it does very good design and art-directed posts and things. It has a great post called A Website to Destroy All Websites. And it's a beautiful opus to like indie open web. And I encourage you to read it. Great kickoff to the year. I think you're absolutely right, Chris. Like I just, there's an appetite that I don't think has been, we're like, hey, build your own website. And people are like, yeah, okay. But like, I think with, just the way, like you said, AI is sort of making everything potentially fake. X is a garbage land. I don't want to understand why people are still on it. Please don't. But the like kind of collapse of those, just I think we get an opportunity to build our own thing and be as weird as you want. Talk about what you want.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it too, is that like that it hasn't totally collapsed, but it certainly collapsed in my mind. I will not engage with it. But then, we're like, okay, well, we got Mastodon and Blue Sky. To me, I'm on both, and I like them both a little bit, but they're not a replacement, and they don't take the same mind share as they did before, which frees up mind share. And this part of the prediction is that, well, fine, I'm going to use that to do more of my own personal stuff. I think that will not only just for me, I'm trying to apply that a little more globally to at least this industry, that more people will be into like, I think I'm going to do it. Spin up that website.
You should. It's never been easier, 11 plus Netlify, boom, you're out. Astro's great too. Like just, you're out the door,
Dude, plus just elephant in the room, just vibe it up. It'll take 5 minutes.
Oh, for sure. Hey, Claude, make a blog for me in Astro. Boom. Now you're blogging,
Right.
And I think there's, everyone can do, like, just do what you want. Like, just like get something going, make it your words. I think that's the other part that's really critical. Like, I'm not gonna bust on the influence. I'm not gonna bust the chops of some influencers or whatever, tech influencers. But like, I see a few people who are just going down this route of like, I'm just gonna post the barf, and it's like, no, man, we gotta like keep it real, there's some LinkedIn-y folks who are kind of just, copy pasting, so. Look, be careful of them. So,
I used to have like a little jealousy of the people who are like the real actions on LinkedIn, there used to be this little vibe of like, if you're avoiding it, you shouldn't be, because there's a lot of stuff over there and there's a lot of value you're probably missing out on. And I don't care anymore. I'm like, how many times have I looked, tried a little bit? I'm like, I can't even. It's garbage. You can't convince me otherwise. Goodbye. You know, like I've given it enough shots.
Yeah, yeah. It quickly nosedives for me. That's what's kind of been that's what's hard for me. You know, it's like this person I know, person I like, add. Person I know, person I know, person I know, add. Person I know, person I know.
If it's person you know, are they writing
add.
something thoughtful and interesting? No,
Not really.
Not in my case.
It's sort of just like career brags, which is I think is worth it too. That's the hard
that
part
would
about.
be interesting to me.
Like
I did this thing and I'm writing about it thoughtfully. That would be great to me. But it just doesn't tend to be that thoughtful, I don't think. I would say if I had a big work-related thought, I would probably type it up there. I mean, I would blog it, obviously, but it's possible that I make it a dedicated LinkedIn post. But I tend to not. I'm not rippled in those thoughts at the moment. Like, it's a big work thing.
Yeah,
and then when we launch CodePen 2, which will be, early this year or something, whatever, it's around. You want in, let me know. Let's talk about it. But I don't know that LinkedIn is going to be a big release target for our marketing, really. I mean, maybe we'll give it a shot. But
yeah, you could, I guess. It's, I think it's, I think like there's a market. People will give you hand claps. You'll get algorithmic bumps. You'll go out like. What's weird is I find it to be a very supportive community. That's what's interesting about LinkedIn. It's like I blog and it's like 200 hand claps, and it's just like that's kind of cool. Like it's just it might be very like
that's nice.
I don't know, fan servicey or just that's the wrong term, but just sort of like this like fake engagement sort of, or like people just being polite or something. But I don't know. There's a vibe there. It's like, hey, we're all doing business. We have to do this. Let's support each other. Like go in there once a month
out of it than I am.
and like people's stuff so it gets boosted. Go be a nice guy or girl on the YouTube or on the LinkedIn and just like give some likes, give some thumbs ups, say cool, repost, and then leave. Do it like once a month, and then also update. You got to get good at bragging about yourself. Like just post a yearly thing of like 3 things you did, like so
right,
like and like just do that and then say okay.
Do you think
bye.
writing is this has been shocking to me? Do you think writing has any, because I'm sure if you've listened to this show for any time, you'd know that it's almost a talking point for me that it has opened so many doors for me in all this, and that I have a development career anyway, but a lot of any reason anybody knows me is probably from writing in some way, shape, or form, right? Mm-hmm. And that I think it becomes a way that you're known a little bit. I think it still opens doors for me to some degree, and that if I was actively looking for a job, I would lean on that skill. Mm-hmm. And that if you're struggling to be known or finding a job, that it could be at least part of the pie that would help you is to write a little something. Is that true or false? Because I find that people are wholly unwilling to do it.
No, I think yes. I mean, one of the toughest things is like documentation, proper documentation, and you try to automate it the best you can, but then it kind of doesn't make sense or whatever, like there's, almost no replacement for just sitting down and just writing out a good, explainer on how something works,
Sure, and then you go into that job interview, it's already propped into your mind. Maybe the person interviewing has found that thing that you're writing and can see that you've thoughtfully crafted this thing. I just don't I see it as clearly of benefit, although I could be wrong, because I certainly see people looking that are unwilling to do that they'll sooner complain than try that.
I would say probably 10 to 15% of my job right now is writing. Just like
wow,
in the sense of, and it's probably more going into the new year, because like a lot of my work is
what counts as writing though, just even an email or a GitHub issue or
GitHub like issues, or even just replying to somebody like, hey, like, okay, what problem are you having? Okay, let me investigate, but then there's this other layer of like RFCs, like, hey, we are experiencing these problems. We have like this data or whatever to justify that, or these constraints. Here's proposals for like what we could do next. Just even like this like, basically like 1, 2, 3 of like, here's what the big change we're considering next. It gives a document that everyone can look at. We didn't have to have a meeting with 20 people from 20 different organizations or whatever. A small team probably has a different, they can just do it in a call or whatever. But it's on paper. And so everyone can look at that piece of paper and be like, yes, that makes sense. Let's go in that direction, you know, versus like, oh, we talked, you weren't in the meeting we talked about where we agreed on that. Like that's like impossible to wrangle, you know? So a lot of my like, you know, even with AI meeting, you know, whatever bots, a lot of my job is just synthesizing what we've discussed, what we've decided, and or like the problems we're facing, and like workable solutions around that. And so it's sort of, you know, that's been a lot of my job. And then a lot of my job is like one-to-one help, like people just DMing me like, hey, I can't figure out this or whatever, and then I just walk them through it or show them how web components work or whatever. Ideally I'm doing one-to-many work, right? Like so that's where you're basically talking about a blog or writing a video and filming a video, you know, like you don't want to have those one-to-one conversations all the time. You do from like a I like my coworkers.
I see. So writing has scale. It has infinite scale, kind of, right?
It has way huger scale, you know, and then people can like grab it. They can disagree with you. They can agree with you, but at least you put it out there. You know, like somebody who doesn't, you know, is like, oh, this is better because I Googled it. You know, it's like, well, tell me more, you know, write that down, you know, let's write down that decision and why we felt that way, you know, like I think you have to like really, I think having a document, writing blog post, you know, Word doc or whatever really is like a very essential tool for like getting people on the same page, and learning how to do that is critical as well. So, especially at a large company like where I'm at. So,
all right. Well, I love that. I think when I started, I'm going to do an HR element in this conversation.
Oh,
HR
separator.
Yep. That there was a little bit of I picked up jQuery was the kind of some of the first JavaScript I ever like really meaningfully wrote on my own. And I thought it was fine. And I learned plenty of JavaScript as I was learning jQuery. And I feel like I, you know, eventually knew the difference, and like it really wasn't that big of a deal. So I had plenty of pushback on the people that were out there saying, don't learn this. Learn JavaScript first and then learn the library. That was like a whole refrain. And that was the drama of the day, was that kind of thing. The fundamentalists versus whatever, and people in between and stuff. Don't just learn jQuery. Learn the fundamentals. All you kids, you're not learning the fundamentals. Certainly, you know, React comes around all these JavaScript frameworks. There's the same kind of thing. I only know React. I don't know JavaScript. I can't even tell the difference. Don't just learn React. Learn the fundamentals, which is both right and wrong. It's like, okay, well, whatever. I need to learn React because that's my job and I like it, or whatever it is. That's okay. And it doesn't, to me, I push back in the same way, even though I want those people. I get it. You should learn the fundamentals. I'm not going to say don't learn the fundamentals, but I think you're more than capable of learning the fundamentals while you use a framework. I just don't care that much. Does that ring true to you in this new era where it's like, don't let the AI code for you, kids. Learn the fundamentals. Don't. Is there any ring true there, or have I made like a false jump from one to the other?
Good question. I don't know. What do you think? Here's my initial thoughts. I think to use AI effectively, you have to understand quality, because and quality is in the form of performance, security, and accessibility. Like, you need to have a baseline grasp on those three elements. And if you don't, then you have no idea if the code it spit out is good.
Right.
And so, no, you don't need to know it. And, you know, but I sort of feel like you need to know enough about quality, and I don't think you get those quality sensibilities till later in your career after you've learned a lot of JavaScript. Because that's where my gatekeeping kicks in. That's where my theory of.
I just worry that it's not as clear. Like, I think there is, what do they say? Like, a objectively better code than other code. Like, to some degree, like, you can look at some code that was really poorly done and be like, this is objectively bad. That there's more. But I think that line is a little grayer than you might seem. You know, and that sometimes code that you think is objectively bad turns out was more subjective, and that your bar is just a little miscalibrated. I think of like real simple stuff, like how I harp on HTML includes over and over, and be like, why would you ever make a website that includes the same header on 15 sites? Why would you ever do that? This objectively bad idea. You should have some kind of include system that puts them there, because then I can update it in one place and it updates in all those different places. And I think that's objectively stupid to have 15 identical pieces of code across 15 HTML files. That's not the computer programming I was taught, and my muscle memory reaches me to do that. I think that's a gray area. I think somebody could say, that's ridiculous, dude. Why would you overtool that? There's a thing called freaking find and replace. I'm very comfortable in my code editor, and if I need to make changes across that area, I can easily and quickly do it. And the fact that you tooled this thing to high heaven to avoid that problem, I didn't, and I'm just as capable of updating that code as you are. That's a weird gray area, and it makes us think that we're making an objective choice when it's more of a subjective choice. Here's another example. I was working on a little animation for Poops and Giggles, and I haven't used GSAP in a while. GSAP, animation language.
Yeah.
Green sock, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever. I'm just going to, like, I have some crap. I threw some divs on the page, and then I just started vibing it like a mother, dude. I was just like telling it what to do. Add this, do this, make this happen at the same time as this. And now I need these child elements in here, animate those. But when the first one runs, then, like, you know, do something to this second one. There's a lot of, like, timing stuff. And it was doing fine. It was mostly doing what I asked it to. When it didn't, I told it to revert what it did, and I asked it to do it another way. All this, right? And then I looked at the code. I didn't look at the code a lot, which I do think is actual vibe coding. And I looked, and there's a lot of repetitive stuff in there, which had me thinking about repetitive stuff. And I was like, oh, this looks smelly to me. It looks a little bit like you just made it work exactly, but, like, I don't know. I don't think this is, like, good code. I couldn't tell you exactly why. It just didn't smell good.
Right.
And I didn't care. Who cares? I was just screwing around. I got the animation did exactly what I wanted it to. It wasn't a performance sensitive situation. Whatever. Like, what is it? Yeah. Sometimes what if the code is what you feel is objectively bad? Is it actually objectively bad, or do you just think it is?
Well, it usually has Tailwind in it, so...
yeah, fair enough.
Tread lightly here, Roop. There's also React.
I'm careful to make this thing, because code probably matters a lot. Most of this code does go to users. And if it's going to go out to a user on the worldwide internet, then it does matter. Eventually it matters, because it's got to be maintained, it's got to be performant, it's got to be accessible, all this stuff. But that's not always the case. What if my animation, I just want to make a little movie of it? So I'm going to get the animation just exactly how I want it, and then I'm going to put my screenshot tool over it, and I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to let the animation run and then stop. Now it has stopped being web code and has started being something else. And the code, I'm going to throw it in the garbage. It's different. Like, that's just a situation. I'm just painting one picture as being like, sometimes it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think, like, you know, I think there is, this is nihilist Chris. I like nihilist Chris. It doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. Hell yeah. The quality of code is nonsense. It doesn't matter. I think there is, I think there's an argument there. Like, I think, like, you know, don't use IDs in CSS. That's quality, baby. You know, like, like, yeah, like when you're like writing a CSS framework at scale or what, you know, like across 1,000 pages, like, but if you have like a 4-page app, that's probably fine, you know, like, but I think, you know, the machine doesn't quite help you understand those trade-offs. I will say there was one time I made this recipe site in Figma Make.
Okay.
It's an idea I've had in my head for a long time. It's basically like, you know, friends sharing their recipes. Like, oh, Molly makes this really awesome artichoke dip. How does she make it? You know, what ingredients does she use? And do I have those? You know, and that sort of thing. And I just was like, okay, it'll be like a little social recipe site, right?
Okay.
And I generated it. It generated. It's like, hey, I want to hook up to Supabase. I created a Supabase account. I hooked it up to Supabase. It started like writing to like, you know, scaffolding out Supabase. Like, holy moly, like this is amazing. Like it's building, you know. And then that's where the problem started. You know what I mean? And like you don't know until you're like at the finish line. And so that's a hard thing for new people to understand, and B, that's a hard thing for like product people and project managers to understand. They're like, oh, it's done, ship it, right? And you're like, oh, wait a minute, there's a bunch of problems. Like you couldn't log in. That was a big problem, you know. Like and it took a huge round of prompting to get it to log in. And then like you couldn't like favorite correctly. It only saved favorites to your local storage. It didn't actually put it into the database, right? You go peek in the database. You're building a recipe site. You're going to have what, Chris? A table for recipes, a table for users, a table for likes or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's like a recipe site. Well, it had one table, and it had a ID key and a value key. And the ID was recipe-1, user-1, likes-1. And so it created basically a single mono table, like WP posts, basically, for every single thing to dump into. And that's going to fall over. And it's just key value. So it was just like a key and a big JSON block. Like, that's bad code. And, like, it's hard for me to explain to a noob, like, hey, that data structure is going to fail you, and it's super hard to redo a data structure later. So that's where it got into this, like, that security and quality is kind of an issue, you know, like that data isn't actually tied to a user ID. Like you'd have to like go get the user ID, go get the thing, and then do a check on the user. And so like, anyway,
yeah,
it turned into this, like, this is not good objectively. And so like that's where I think like I think the bigger you go, the bigger surface area for problems is. That's what I'd say. I feel secure in that. Like, if you're doing a small thing, a little utility,
like
a little groove dog, great, have fun. Like, send it. But if you're going, like, if you're doing a big thing with users, with data, you got to really put on the big boy pants, and you got to put on the thinking caps, and you got to think about, like, this is, you know, could be critical to people's life and or security. So that's what I would sort of say on that. So
I like it. I really do. I think there's something apt in there. Like, the bigger you go, the more dangerous it is, particularly without any QA or whatever, like without the kind of know what you're doing.
Yeah. And so, you know, and it's hard for one person to know all this stuff. And so that's where I get a little, you know, when I hear like, oh, one person is going to manage 50 agents in the future, you know, like, you know, I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be true, because that's a lot of knowledge that one person has to own, you know?
Yeah, so, dude. Okay. Well, I like that.
All right. We should wrap it up here.
I'll do my last prediction. Oh, we're over, but I'm just going to say it and then it's over. There will not be big drama this year. There'll be political drama, but I mean in tech, light. It's going to be a light drama year.
Ooh, light drama. Okay, we're going to check that one next year. Tune in, Shop Talk, to watch Chris fail miserably on that one. All right. Thank you, dear listener,
Okay,
for downloading
yeah.
this in your podcatcher choice. Shard it up. That's how people find out about the show. And follow us on one of the good ones, Mastodon or Blue Sky. And then join us in the Discord. That's where all the cool kids hang out who support the show. So we really appreciate that. Patreon.com/Shop Talk Show. And Chris, did you have like anything else to say?
Just that shoptalkshow.com.